Wow, it's to be honest, it's something I pinch myself about a lot, because everyone you've mentioned is just a special kind of personality. They are who they are because of the kinds of people they are. And we consider ourselves very privileged and blessed to be known by them. As we like to say, I know people. In my case, or in Goshen Acquisitions case, we like to say that we are known by people. And that's a privilege. Honestly, we don't take it for granted at all. And it's been amazing. It's been an amazing learning journey, understanding the new reality for businesses as far as working with influencers is concerned. Something that I was uncomfortable with at first, but something I have come to accept as the way business is gonna be done for the foreseeable future. So, right from the very beginning, we've been a very relationship-based or relational brand. We like to work with people we know and like, because ultimately we're in the business of building communities. When we go out there and scout an amazing piece of land and make sure that it's available legally, soundly, in terms of ethics, for a decent price that people can afford, it's always about bringing the right mix of people together. People have to like each other. In very many cases, they have to be similar to one another, or at the very least have similar interests, right? So we've always been extremely aware that we're ultimately in the business of building communities. So it's a relationship-based journey. And so in the beginning, when we had the privilege of interacting with, say, Caroline Mutoko, she purchased some land from us in Imbuko. She did it remotely because she was in the States at the time. She sent her parents to come and scout the land for her. They brought some of their friends along with them. Thank God they loved the experience and loved the land. And they bought, and she bought for her kids. We've always been keen to build on those relationships. And so it was sort of a natural thing in the end that she would end up being the first, probably the main brand ambassador for Grand Acres and Goshen Acquisitions, because it was born out of a pre-existing relationship. It wasn't a cold commercial transaction from someone who was simply looking to get money. In fact, the first time she mentioned us on one of her videos, I had no clue. A friend of mine sent me a link that she had mentioned us in a video, and it did all sorts of crazy things in terms of sales, exposed us to a completely new group of people we had no access to before. If you don't know who Caroline Mutoko is, I don't know what cave or rock you've been living in or under, Google and save yourself from your ignorance. You will understand why that was a big thing for a small company, a small but growing company like ours. And then so fast forward a couple of years later, as I began to learn about social media, I bumped into these two guys, Richard A. Njau. He's actually behind the camera, and his partner, George Kagwe, who tried to sell me on doing videos, educational videos, just to share the experience. And I was so uncomfortable about it. But deep down, I had a very strong conviction that we needed to do our bit, our part, as patriots, as practitioners in the industry, to shed light on this dark process. 60% of our customers to date have been conned before we ever met them. It's almost a rite of passage in Kenya to get defrauded when you're buying land before you do a transaction successfully, which is terrible and unfortunate and absolutely unnecessary. So I took that challenge to heart, and we started our channel Own Land in Kenya, specifically to just share how to go about the process safely and avoiding all the pitfalls that come along with a land buying journey in Kenya. And that took on a life of its own. Today, a good number, I'd say probably a majority of our customers find us through Own Land in Kenya and on social media. I think that trajectory is going to keep growing. So it's something we learned to embrace. And then out of that process, I felt like we really needed something for the brand to identify us and mark us separate from everyone else and all the noise in the marketplace. And I had this crazy idea that we need a sound. We need a sound, the sound of Goshen Acquisitions, right? You know what that means. It's you know the feelings you get when you hear that, always Coca-Cola, right? Or anyone my age would understand what what that does to your insides, especially around Christmas time. Or any other brand that has a consistent sound that's basically been burnt into your brain, that every time you hear it takes you back to the first moment you heard it and reminds you of everything that brand represents. I wanted that for Goshen Acquisitions. Why wouldn't I? Right? So I had this crazy idea to find the right group or person to write or create the sound of Goshen Acquisitions. And one thing led to another. We whittled down to Sauti Sol because we genuinely feel like Sauti Sol are the soul of Kenya. I genuinely mean that. They represent the best of Kenya. From a creativity perspective, everyone knows what their accolades are. Today, if you play the radio, you'll hardly go 30 minutes before a Sauti Sol or Soul Generation song is played on rotation multiple times a day. And we decided, let's ask Sauti Sol if they would do us the honor of creating the sound of Goshen Acquisitions. And lo and behold, they said yes. They happen to be fans, again, because of social media. And they wrote an amazing song for us. I'm sure you can hear bits of it in the background as I'm speaking. And in that process, they bought land from us in Imbuko. They purchased a massive 10-acre block of land overlooking Mount Kilimanjaro. And that became another new, amazing, exciting relationship that is still ongoing. And they're now part of our brand ambassadorship. So stay tuned for a lot more content from them and with us for your consumption in the coming months. And from that, we also got introduced to Ivy Mugo, or just Ivy. She's a beast in a feminine way. And she represents our present and future in many respects. So I say all that just to say that it's been a magical experience working with influencers. We're very protective about our brand, so obviously we are extremely picky about who we want to be associated with, as picky as the individuals who've agreed to work with us. Caroline Mutoku does not take prisoners. If you don't have your crap together, don't even bother. That's our mantra in the office. Same thing with Sauti Sol. Their commitment to excellence, creative excellence, is inspiring. Same thing with Just Ivy. If you don't know who Just Ivy is, again, save yourself from your ignorance and Google her. Get on her Instagram, follow her. Tons of quality content to empower the youth and those in their 30s and under 30. And so it's a profound privilege to be able to have these guys in our corner and helping us get the message out that it is possible to own land in Kenya safely and ethically. So stay tuned, check out our channel, reach out to us on email if you need to. Our number is available. Pay us a visit at our office. Let's have a conversation about how we can get you busy about owning your piece of Kenya. I'm Solomon Wangwe, and you're watching Own Land in Kenya.